disappointed but not surprised. Prime Minister Mark Carney had been laying the groundwork to say that no deal was likely to be reached by August 1st. He had been sort of dropping those hints in recent days, saying that Trump's trade approach essentially is very clear. He likes tariffs, especially those sectoral tariffs. The Canadian government not entirely surprised, but here is what Prime Minister Mark Carney is saying in a statement that he posted on social media last night. He writes that while the Canadian government is disappointed by this action, we remain committed to CUSMA, which is the world's second largest free trade agreement by trading volume. So he notes that because of that carve-out, that exemption right now for CUSMA compliant goods, that the average tariff rate on Canadian goods still remains one of the lowest for all U.S. trading partners. There may have been a sigh of relief in the Prime Minister's office last night, Katie, when Trump didn't scrap that exemption, though he did, of course, decide to raise that tariff rate. Carney, though, says there is a but, of course, here. There are very high tariffs on those sectors, including automobile, steel and aluminum, and those duties that just went up on softwood lumber. And he says that the government is going to act to protect jobs, invest in Canada's competitiveness, buy Canadian and diversify our export markets. We've been hearing this from the Prime Minister a lot lately. He was recently in Hamilton, Ontario, known as Steel Town, and made some announcements for that sector. So he's perhaps indicating there's more to come in terms of support for other sectors that are being hard hit. He also outlined the measures that Canada's taken to address the flow of fentanyl across the border. Of course, that is what Trump is using as a rationale for some of these tariffs. And Carney saying that while Canada continues to try and get a deal, so he's indicating talks are still ongoing. They have not shut down or been cut off, that Canada's still negotiating, but it's going to focus on what Canada can control. We have heard this from Carney before as well, that now the provinces and territories and Ottawa are working on breaking down internal trade barriers. They're working on these so-called major nation-building projects. So he says that is what Canada is focused on while it continues these negotiations, which Carney this week had been describing as complex and intense and comprehensive.